So how does government achieve success in project management? In looking across all the organizations, the couple dozen that we talked to, we featured only ones that had successful things to share because there's enough about how things don't work. We wanted to focus on what did work so you could look at the book and go to your boss and say, this worked over here, let's try it. But what we saw in the ones that were successful, NASA, Interior, the Department of Energy, particularly that Office of Environmental Management that we talked with, was mission was a unifier. Okay? You can walk into the front door at NASA, talk to the guy who's right there at the door, doing whatever he's doing, opening the door for you or sweeping the floor. He can tell you what NASA's mission is. Okay? Up and down, left to right. Absolutely everybody knows the mission. Same thing with OEM. Everybody knew their job. Clean up, make places safe, and return it to the public interest. Alignment between strategy, programs, and projects. A lot of organizations, some 10, 15 years ago did not have strategic plans. A lot of organizations do now. The good organizations have ones they put into action, where they make decisions based on that strategy. Project management is a key element of achieving strategy, because strategy simply is a collection of initiatives to help an organization achieve their direction. Right? So those organizations that had clear strategic plans that were being acted upon on a regular basis, they were more successful at project management. It kind of cleared the air and the path for PMs to execute, because they could say, we are helping achieve the strategy of our organization. Those organizations, the project management practitioners in those organizations, were conscious of their organizational environment. They knew when to push and when to hold back. All right, they knew the resistance, they knew the capacity of their organization to accept new processes, new tools, new techniques, and they kind of managed that minefield quite well. And then, in honor of our work, they all had a plan. They actually sat down, created a plan. This is how we're going to do project management here. Here's how we're going to improve it. And there's a Gantt chart to go with it. There's a project schedule, a risk assessment, etc. The challenges. We have mission as a driver, we have mission as a challenge. Those organizations that did not have a clear mission, or those that had several clear missions, the unifying effect stopped at a certain point. Right? So in energy, where they have a wide variety of organizations, in OEM, very clear, but it didn't always jive with some other parts of the organization. All right? And then competing cycles. We talked about this a little bit, mentioned it. Budget cycle is different than the planning cycle, than is different than the development cycle for the projects that we're working on. It's different from the legislative cycle, et cetera, and the reporting cycles that we're responsible for. Lastly, on that, opportunities, other success is an opportunity. As I said, this isn't rocket science, except at NASA it is, but this isn't rocket science for us. See where things work and use them here. And then the bottom line is, everybody here, any federal contractor or government personnel, we need to be aware that we have an obligation to deliver to the taxpayer. So the call to action here, we've talked, you've heard the previous speaker, and I'm going to add a fourth P, thank you very much. The fourth P being patience. But today, leaving here, what can you do to help project management success here at State? You can promote the practice, whether it's one-on-one with a team, with the organization you work in, or finding any opportunity with anybody you speak to, or the work that you're doing. You can promote the practice of project management. You can practice it well. Nothing breeds success like success. We always look at, in organizations that are challenged in project management, we try to pick a project to put some discipline around it that will be successful, to demonstrate that it works and that it can be successful elsewhere, and continue to push for progress. Communicate about your progress and the successes. What I'll leave you with here is a quote. He happens to be my congressman and a friend. But it just so happens that he also, if you've ever seen Elijah Cummings speak, or speak on the floor or on the Sunday morning talk shows, you'll know what I mean. When he says something, people listen. And so he worked, he's on the senior member on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, worked with the Deepwater program, or investigated the Deepwater program in the Coast Guard years ago. And from that experience, he left with me with this thought, and I'll leave this thought with you as well. Mediocrity is expensive, okay? We are at the front lines of making sure that things are done excellently and with skill. If we don't strive to do that, there's a cost. And it's not expensive only in dollars. It could be expensive in the lives of the people that we affect. And with that, I will wrap up with simply a plug. I'll hang around, have a few books, and then my contact information. But I want to thank you for your attention. I apologize.